I really admire our founder and CEO at Revolution. He's not cutting corners.
If your son, let's say what you said 12, so if in the next few years gets to 19, 20, said, Dad, I want to make it in Dubai real estate, what would you tell him? What advice would you give him from what you've learned?
Wow. That's a great question.
I'm sure there's lots of things.
Wow.
This maybe could be an episode in itself.
Yeah, I think so. But look, knowledge is key, and that applies to any industry. I think what sets me apart from, let's say, other people in the market is I personally believe is my number of years here and my understanding of Dubai. And when you talk about real estate, the city is your inventory, right? The different areas are your different product types, maybe, you know? And so I think I would say very important to know the market, depending on where he goes into real estate. I think by the time my son grows up, I wouldn't be surprised if I'm a developer myself, you know, I think that's my future as well. And so I would say from a brokerage standpoint, know the market, know all the areas very well, understand the economics, because that's also a big part of selling property in Dubai. But from a developer standpoint, I think my advice would be focus on quality. And I think that's really something that sets people apart in this market.
Why do more developers not do that?
Bottom line.
Yeah.
And this is the other thing that I really admire our founder and CEO at Revolution. He's not cutting corners, you know, and when we deliver with a tree of life, people are going to understand. And I'm privy to some meetings. I overhear other things where the company is not cutting corners. And actually, more people can do that. More people can provide these things. The air, the water, the materials, the finishes. But of course, if you want a higher margin, then you have to keep your costs down. How do you keep your costs down? Use a tile instead of Roman travertine marble. People ask us, you know, because the terrace space in A1 for us is an extension of the apartment, right? And investors even sometimes say, well, how can you charge based on terrace space? But the cost of our terrace space is more than some internal areas because of the materials and finishes that we're using outside. Roman travertine, Italian marble on the terrace, not tiles. You know, I'm not going to mention names, and we've got AWA here in the background, but there's projects on Dubai Water Canal, and I've been in them. Interior is different, exterior is different. And that's where you cut your costs.
Yeah.
Even if the plunge pools, what you see in the market are these glass perspex, not to say that the quality is low or whatever, but we've got Italian marble plunge pool, the Roman travertine plunge pool. So it's about quality, you know, and a lot of people cut those steps.
Yeah.
And that's where they save money. It's for the bottom line. If you're thinking about your clients, you add value, you add more value. And another thing, hats off to our founder and our company. He keeps adding value. When we started selling the project, the travertine floor was a different level. He's increased the value, he increased the quality. originally in the air filtration system, which is already advanced, there was no UV lamps. He's added UV lamps to eradicate mold in the air conditioning system. He's brought on mold consultants to ensure that we've got no mold in the building. And the way that you use the concrete, pour the concrete, cure the concrete, treat the concrete, helps to eradicate mold, which nobody else does. And you know there's a mold problem in most buildings here. So just going the extra mile, we talk about using MERV 14 filters in our air filtration system, which is like what they use in operating rooms of hospitals. This is what eradicates those germs, bacteria, and so on. He's now upgrading it. I've heard, it's not official, maybe I shouldn't say, but upgrading it to a higher level, which is MERV 16, which also reduces noise. The slabs between the floors, you can make thin slabs, but what happens is that you have noise pollution. Our slabs double the thickness. Instead of blocking 50 decibels of sound, we're blocking 99 decibels of sound and above. So you can't hear anything up or down. So these are the things that you can save money on or spend money on, which is a difference in the quality that you deliver. Well, natural woods, natural stones, natural veneers, natural marbles. You know, in our ensuite bathrooms, behind the vanity, we've got single slab stone coming from all over the world, Greece, Italy, Canada. So it's these things, you know, and I think, you know, you asked the question, why don't others do it? And I think it's, in the end of the day, bottom line. And listen, each to their own. There are people that sell volume, and that would probably be the lowest quality. There's people that are selling the mid-level. You have some kind of mix, and then there's also premium. But even if you look at the premium market, I believe, and I've seen a lot of developments, still no one is going to that extreme.
Yeah.
You know, and so yeah,
it's very interesting, amazing. Where'd you get your energy from?
I've always had that energy. I think I was born with it. But, you know, I come from a family of entrepreneurs. I've always been a people person. I've been in sales, like I said, from a very young age. I used to have more energy.
Really? Can't imagine it.
Maybe overbearing, you know. And some people ask me, you know, please, Shari, can you notch it down a couple of levels? But it's hard for me because, you know, for me, communication is so key.
Yeah.
You know, I have a team right now, and it's about, you know, how you talk, how you present, and I've been doing that for a very, very long time. So it's just natural, I guess.
Amazing.
All right. Sport.
Yeah.
Keep fit.
Yeah.
The body, you know, also affects the mind. You know, so I'm a big believer in keeping fit, doing sport. And if you're going through hard things, if you fix the body, you fix the mind